Welcome to the family, son.
Alrighty, what's up guys? Single player Nacho here. And that is a southern Dulvey punch to the face from a demented, probably sexually frustrated old man who has been roided up with mold powers. So, can you survive Jack Baker? We'll look at each and every scenario where Jack can and probably would kill you, including the chasing around the Baker house, the garage fights, and the chainsaw fights. To up the realism, we'll be encountering Jack in Madhouse mode, the single hardest difficulty in Resident Evil 7. Good luck, and without further ado, let's get to it. Jack Baker really doesn't do uninvited guests. He's quite the territorial family man with little to no regard for anyone's life, even his own. Just take a look at how freakishly fast this man is. The insane crackhead-like speeds are pretty apparent. This isn't your typical old man chilling after retirement. In fact, Jack will undoubtedly catch you. In Madhouse mode, he is just way too fast with his hands, so you're gonna have to take a beating if you'd like to survive. But here's the catch. You have approximately 4 to 5 seconds after Jack lets you go for yet another pummeling, a shovel to that gorgeous Ethan face. Jack simply does not let up. Running is not a sustainable option in this scenario. Hell, even the walls aren't safe from destruction.
You're wasting your time.
Your first and real only option is to hide, and that really is the safest technique. But Papa Baker isn't too dumb to figure out where you're going. You're gonna have to play some cat and mouse before he's distracted with some of Marguerite's furniture, before you can leave his line of sight. And as you can see, you can still have a decent amount of your shoveled in face exposed, and Jack won't see you. But these results vary. Other times I swore I was way out of Jack Baker's sight, only to have a mini heart attack at how fast this dude runs up on you. He deserves those shots. But Jack Baker isn't a complete and total dick. In fact, he's quite charitable. I'm sure he's done fundraisers for the handicapped and rope fetish people. Jack will not only remove your leg with his shovel, he'll also allow you to drag yourself towards a gift, and that gift is a green herb potion. How fucking nice of him. Now of course, we can't forget what's really going on here. After Resident Evil Village, we found out that Ethan was in fact killed in the very first act of Resident Evil 7 by Jack Baker with the stomp to the temple. The mold, along with the green herbs, is what is actually keeping Ethan alive. So that means none of us would have survived any of this. That's something to keep in mind. Until you get your hands on some weaponry, that's when you can start taking control of the situation. It takes a good 20 or so headshots to finally put Jack Baker down for good.
Oh, my head.
Of course, I'm kidding. This only helps your survival cause for a small amount of time before the mold in Jack fully restarts his entire system. Whatever you do, do not go for the double tap, aka shooting the bastard one more time when he's down. It'll just wake him up faster and keep you from solving those overly complex puzzles in Jack's house. Overall, I'd give the Madhouse/Jack chase scenario a survivability rating of 5 out of 10. It all depends on how good you are at sneaking and aiming, and how good you are at being beaten by a shovel. There's also lots of space in the Madhouse scenario, which is a pleasure that's not found in the other, less survivable scenarios. Welcome to Jack Baker's favorite place in the house, the garage. How manly is it to have a fucked up looking garage? Well, things get even more fucked up when Jack shaves the deputy a little too deeply and shovels a chunk off of his head. He must have felt taller for a second right there. Honestly, the garage fight is so unsurvivable, it's crazy. Thankfully, you have a bunch of random shelves in between yourself and Papa Baker. He must have some form of ADHD because he'll go to town on those things. The main focus and option here is, you guessed it, Jack's car. If you can avoid getting shoveled to death, There's a pretty funny scenario that occurs that some of you may not have picked up on. To survive this scenario, you're supposed to pick the lockbox on the table, grab the car keys, and run over Jack's frail and old body with the car, vehicular manslaughter. But if this isn't done quick enough, Jack loses his patience and will get in the car and run you over, essentially ending the game and your life, if we're keeping count. However, with infinite health on, I eventually ran out of ammo to try to down this Fast and Furious dude, then tried stabbing him to see if I can get out of this scene. That's right, you can still down Jack even while he's driving, and the scenario keeps going, so that's a good thing. Jack gets tired after being stabbed many times. Hilariously enough, however, is if the scenario plays on as it is intended. Say you do pick the lockbox, grab the keys, and start ramming the shit out of Jack Baker. He'll begin to coax you into hitting him. But what happens if you just don't?
Just shut up! What are you Oh no! I'm driving.
This guy is an addict for pain. He gets impatient and attempts to remove Ethan from the driver's seat. If you let him remove you, the previous scenario plays out where Jack will crash his car continuously onto you. But if you drive for just a little bit before he gets in, it's back to square one. He'll continue to beg for pain. He's pretty dumb for doing this, so that's another good thing. The single most unsurvivable aspect here isn't even really about Jack, but the car itself. Hit Jack enough times as you're supposed to, and he'll climb onto the roof and take control of the wheel himself. This guy just doesn't give up. But it's this scene that I doubt any of us are surviving.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take you for a ride. No!
Crashing directly onto a cement or steel pillar would probably be an automatic death wish, as our friend Jack next to us is experiencing. The lack of airbags is also a huge red flag. Thankfully, we continue to move on as the car is literally going to explode. The blast radius itself, along with all the possible sharp objects and debris, would also send us straight to hell. Or heaven, I don't know, it depends. Also, Jack does end up shooting himself in the head just to show off his mold powers to Ethan, which is a really dumb thing to do. Kind of funny how Jack only does this as he feels threatened by Ethan, and how he wants to remain as Evelyn's father. I mean, who wouldn't want to be Jack's offspring? The garage scenario gets a 2 out of 10 survivability rating. There's just too much things that can go wrong in that tiny ass, fuel-filled garage. I doubt many of us would be lucky enough to survive it. The chainsaw scenario begins with a kick to the abdomen and you fall straight on some steel bedding. This is a red flag because you'd be surprised how easy it is to break your fucking neck when falling, even from a small height. And this is where things get even more ridiculous to survive. For one, the area is smaller, making it harder to avoid Jack. But there's also not one, but 2 one-hit kills in this area. If Jack grabs you at a certain angle, regardless of your health status, he'll drive a pickaxe right into you, ending your life and pretty much answering the question in this video. But it's not all doom and gloom. The good thing is you got some friends in this scenario. Sure, they're tied to the ceiling and are dead meat, but the various body bags will serve as a decent keep-away tool, if you're willing to kick a dead body. And if you are, please comment down below #KickADeadBody. Kick those bodies onto Jack and he'll stumble for a bit, but if you keep doing it over and over again just for fun, this scenario actually keeps playing, and Jack will reach for his Mega Tyrannosaurus chainsaw. It's just funny to think that being hit by a corpse is what pisses Jack off. Once he gets that Mega Chainsaw, if you were to even somehow impossibly make it this far, it's all over here. Jack's saw has incredible reach. It's humongous and heavy as shit. Thanks to Jack's mold powers, however, he's able to swing this thing like a 10-pound weight, over and over again. Combine that with the small perimeter, and there's just no way any of us wouldn't get at least a paper cut. It's pretty much all downhill from here, and to top it all off, a secondary one-hit kill exists here, serving as a reminder that you won't survive this encounter. Good thing is, there's just so happens to be another chainsaw. Partial red flag, however, it's way smaller and it needs to be reloaded. But it's pretty easy to defend yourself with this thing and possibly win a chainsaw fight. A chainsaw fight is already over the top insane with the amount of dips and cuts. The overuse of the engine inside the saw would probably melt your hands. Where there's a will, there's a way. And the 0.0001 population that makes it this far into the fight would need to down Jack a bunch of times before finally ending him. Jack explodes and goes on sale at 50% off. You know, at this point, if I were Ethan, I'd probably just take a good 10-hour nap. These 3 scenarios have some tiring athletics involved. I'm giving the chainsaw fight a 1 out of 10 survivability rating, 1-hit kills, stamina, ginormous chainsaws, and a man in a failing marriage will easily get yourself killed. So, do you think that you have what it takes to survive Jack Baker? What would you have done differently? Whatever you do, always remember, do not double tap.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Well, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do you think you would survive Jack Baker? And let me know other monsters, characters, or scenarios you'd like me to cover on another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror lore, lists, and mysteries. Have an awesome rest of your day. And as always, stay single.